What do Romans, Celts, and Candy have in common? Death! Oh, and Halloween. I'm Andy, and this is a New Leaf Harvest for your brains. Halloween, as a word, first appeared in 1745. It comes from the well-known Scottish term All Hallows Eve. All Hallows is also known as All Saints' Day, where on November 1st, all the saints in the Catholic Church, whether known or unknown, are honored. So how does the eve of a day honoring saints come to be filled with ghosts, ghouls, and other horrors? Any way you slice it, All Saints' Day was a celebration used to take the existing days that were set aside to honor and appease the dead, and to refocus it on honoring the Catholic Church's dead. So let's go back to the founding of Rome.
Wait, what? That's 753 BC. That's 3/4 a millennia, even before Christ walked the earth, let alone the Catholic Church.
Oh, just wait. You'll see. The legend goes Romulus and Remus were... No. Romulus and Remus. Yes. Romulus and Remus were the twin sons of a princess of a city which was usurped by their uncle. And their father was Mars, or Ares, or also known as the god of war. Okay, there we go. Other people would say that their father was Hercules, depending on who you asked. Well, the brothers were saved by the servant who was tasked to drown them or bury them alive when he went all Jochebed and Moses them down the river. There on the bank of the river, a wolf suckled them, woodpeckers fed them, and a young farming couple found them and raised them. Eventually, they went back and killed their uncle and restored their maternal grandfather to the throne. And instead of waiting around to inherit from their old man, they decided to go out and make a city of their own. Don't you see the connection yet? And just wait. Romulus wants their city on Palatine Hill. Remus wants their city on Aventine Hill. They decide to settle it in smash! No, just kidding. They actually decide to use augury, which is the practice of interpreting omens through observing the flight path of birds.
See, brother, the birds doth like me more.
No, they don't. Each brother said they won. They fight. Romulus ends up killing Remus. Pew, pew, pew! Oh, no, wait. That's bad. Well, I guess Mars/Ares was their father after all. Romulus, feeling bad, starts the feast of Lemuria, or Lemuralia, to appease the spirit of Remus. The feast is celebrated on May 13th, and it's used to exorcise the demons out of your house. To do this, you'd start with the head of household, offering up a handful of black beans and tossing them over his shoulder. At night, barefoot. I send these. With these, I redeem me and mine. And you repeat that 9 times. Then the rest of the household would... Ghosts of my fathers and ancestors, be gone! Again, you do that 9 times. That's exactly like binging on sweets and watching horror movies, right? No? So fast forward to 609 AD. The Catholic Church is going strong, and Pope Boniface IV dedicates the Pantheon at Rome to St. Mary and the Martyrs. Pantheon in this case is a big church, not a group of gods or a star-speckled creature. On the same day, Boniface IV also starts the All Saints' Day feast, which happens to be on May 13th. You guessed it. Now you can put on your tinfoil hats, thinking the Catholic Church was trying to overrun existing cultural institutions. Or, wouldn't it make sense that a festival about remembering the saints and the dead of the Church is most aptly held when the general culture is holding festivals for remembering the dead? Just a thought. Fast forward again to the 730s. Pope Gregory III moves All Saints' Day to November 1st. It is super reinforced on that day by Pope Gregory IV in the year 835 AD. Now this just so happened to be on the Gaelic festival of Samhain. Samhain marked the dark time of the year, where the sun started setting halfway between its equinox and its solstice position. They'd know this through using natural or man-made structures. Nowadays we can use an analema or a calendar. According to Gaelic tradition, it was during this dark time that the Ishi, or the fairy people, and the dead could come visiting from their realms. To honor, appease, or protect from these visitors, many different rituals arose. In general, bonfires and home candles were lit for protection. A feast would be held and many games would be played. Such games often had to do with divination, predicting your future, perhaps your marriage or maybe your untimely death. Well, it's kind of like MASH, except with apples, nuts, and ashes instead. Dressing up on Halloween probably came from the Celtic tradition of placating the spirits, or hiding from them, by copying or being masked from them. This came to be coupled with the tradition of souling, where the poor would go from door to door, begging for food, cakes, or coin during sacred feasts. In return, the beggars would pray for the departed members of the donating family, or offer to recite verses or sing songs. During Christmas, this is known as wassailing, or caroling. Around 1895, it was recorded that these dressed-up beggars were using scooped-out turnips as lanterns. Lanterns which had their own dark story, perfect for the theme of the season. There once was a man named Jack. He was a sinful man, and he had a choice encounter with Satan. By one means or another, he was able to trap him using the sign of a cross. Jack only allowed Satan to go once he agreed that he would not take his soul to hell when he died. Eventually, the demise of Jack came. But heaven would not take such a sinful man, and Satan, honoring his agreement, would not take him to hell either. But taunting him, Satan threw an ember from the eternal fires up to him. Jack scooped up this dim light into a hollowed-out turnip to use as a lantern during his eternal wanderings, forever being known as Jack of the Lantern. Halloween came to America in force during the large migrations from Ireland, Scotland, and England during the early part of the 1900s. As is common with time and migrations, changes came to the monsters and spirits that haunted us. The turnip was switched out for the larger, softer pumpkin. Cakes and coin were switched out for candy, and begging was swapped with playing harmless pranks for those who didn't provide treats. In fact, trick-or-treating didn't become common till the 1930s, and some felt it was kind of like extortion. After World War II, with radio and television spreading tradition and cultures, the North American Halloween influence spread through the world, through South America, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, Japan, and other parts of Asia. And the term trick or treat didn't back-migrate to the British Isles until the 1980s. All the while, the spirits of the restless dead, goblins, witches, and kids are all appeased through alms and customs to stave off the grave consequences. Kind of like a big chain letter. All right, you little extortionists, go be appeased by your offerings and festivities, and remember to share your favorite traditions and this video with 10 of your friends, lest you suffer the wrath and curse of the nerd! Happy Halloween!